Well, good evening. We're back. Your boy Mario, Randy, Rogelio, and we just have another topic that may be a little bit controversial too.
Ooh. All right, stand by.
Top Talks.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
All right.
All right, now we started this podcast with controversy right away,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
Last week, what we discussed.
We discussed racism, DEI.
DEI, yeah.
And then the last one was ice.
ICE.
Yeah.
I want to
Continue on to that path.
continue with that path, but it's a
Yeah.
little bit different because it's
Okay.
somewhat hard to pinpoint now.
Yeah.
But so we have to like understand history a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about systemic racism because everybody talks about it. They always say it's
There's
you know,
systemic racism around.
yeah, it's still racist. Blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah.
So we just talked about DEI and its effects. And
Actually,
what's-
somebody commented about that.
Really?
Well, we can. They're saying that DEI is evil. So, it is somewhat of a radical idea.
Okay.
But I would argue that we have strength in numbers.
I tell you what was a radical idea too was letting women vote
Back in the day, yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
What was radical too was having non-whites go to school with whites,
Yeah.
or having minorities in general go to
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the schools
Or the bathroom.
or the bathroom,
Or the bus.
right? Or the bus.
The bus.
Yeah, yeah.
So I get it. Sometimes when I wouldn't say new, but sometimes when there are some initiatives that may create a little bit of equality, people get scared.
Right. Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right. That's just my opinion. I'm
Yeah,
not really,
yeah.
really sure.
Right,
But when we're talking about systemic racism, I just finished, I like reading, I like listening to books, audiobooks.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the books that I listened to, and it was pretty amazing because it talked about housing.
Right.
You know, housing policies back in the day, when we're talking about back in the day, like 30s, 40s, 50s,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
right?
that's back in the day.
Back
yeah,
in
yeah.
the day.
Hell, when we were back in the day, when you're in military, you retire, you get a house. And
There you go.
land.
Why don't we start there? When you were in the military, when you did your
Yeah.
service time,
Yeah.
you were granted a house
Or land.
or land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it equal across the board?
I don't know. I'm not really in the know of the specificity of that era. all
So
that stuff.
that book that I was listening to, it did speak about that, and sadly, it wasn't 100% that everybody got it. It was selective. But if you were a white,
Back then. Yeah.
of course you got it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
if you were a
Other?
black soldier or other that served, more than likely you didn't get it.
Oh, really?
Or if you did get it, you didn't get it to where you would be most profitable.
Oh, it's kind of like they give you the swamp, basically.
Something like that.
got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
even, they talked about a little bit of Washington State. There's parts of Washington State to where it was solely everybody that bought houses or lands was only allowed to certain races, which is white race,
Yeah.
Interesting.
right?
And this is back in the 30s and 40s.
This is back as 50s or 60s.
Okay, cool. Got
Right.
it. Okay.
Because that was part of the policy
Right. Okay. Yeah.
by the government.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
By the government.
So that's something that I could call systemic racism.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's there.
Because
I mean, it was pretty obvious.
discriminating against a certain,
Yeah.
an individual's race, creed, color, gender,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. And then-
Once you start excluding, I think that becomes a problem.
Right.
It is. I mean, we cannot deny. I mean, luckily, I wasn't born during those days.
Yeah.
And all I could do is
experience
read
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Right? Or, when you go look at history books, you do see
Yeah,
some.
yeah.
No dogs allowed, no Filipinos allowed.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's funny, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they were actually signs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
for
they
the,
were pretty straightforward back then.
back
Yeah.
then, they're
There's no
straightforward.
hiding.
No.
And the sad part is,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna speak for myself. When they talk about racism before,
Yeah.
of course, me, when I was younger, automatically I just thought about white and black.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't see myself part of that thing.
Right. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Very naive.
Yeah.
But
Especially
then,
when you're young, yeah.
when you start reading and learning, then you come across literature like that
Yeah.
that actually spells it out.
Yeah.
No dogs allowed, or dogs allowed. Filipinos don't come in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, you could still see. You go like, what
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
here?
Right.
It's real.
Yeah.
Then you kind of like understand
Yeah.
why people are so ingrained. Like,
Right.
yes, it's still happening. It's still happening. It's still there.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
that's the question, though, right? Is it still happening?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Is it truly happening in front of you?
No.
Well, let's see.
I don't think it's blatantly happening in front of you as before. But just like anything else, some people I'm gonna generalize this because I don't think it's not like before for sure. I think we kinda got better.
Okay.
I think we moved on to a better today, basically. You know what I mean? Am I making sense? Like
No, yeah.
there's I don't see a whole lot of exclusions anymore.
I don't think there's any law
Yeah.
that is
yeah.
obviously
excluding
racist.
like excluding someone, you know what I mean, like only this. I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I'm not
hold on.
sure that I don't know.
Well, let
Is
me
there?
let me give you,
I'm not sure.
Let me give you an example.
Is there like someone excluding like only black can do this
Yeah. No, there's none. None that I know of.
or only white can do
Yeah.
this?
Let me share a 1993 experience.
Okay.
LA, Los Angeles.
Right.
Driving around, not even speeding.
Right.
Driving my nice souped up car,
Yeah.
not that loud, get pulled over for no reason. Instead of me staying in the car just handling license and registration,
Paperwork. Yeah.
I'm actually going out sitting on the curb.
Wow. That's great.
So is that subjective racism instead of institutional racism?
Well, you could say subjective. I could say institutional. What was the reason
Yeah.
for me to be sitting on a curb?
Yeah.
But that's the individual police decision.
Well,
Is it happening all over the country?
I tell you, majority of the Asians that was driving nice cars,
Yeah.
we sat on the curb. We
By
sat on
all,
the curb.
by all the cops.
right.
By all cops, yeah.
Yeah.
By all
Yeah.
cops.
But that's so I think my point is what I'm trying to say is if it's ingrained in black and white that hey, if you find an Asian person blah 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 driving this car, you will have to put them on the curb. If it's written, then it's institutional. Now, if it's a group
As
of
an
people,
as an individual, yeah.
individual, then that's just
That person.
that person or a group of people or a group of
Okay, I see what you're
police.
saying.
No.
You know
I
what I
see what
mean?
you're saying.
I-
Because people don't understand what institutional racism
I,
is.
think,
Yeah,
I know what you're saying because
stands
you're saying that because back in the day it was actually a law
for. It's actually
that,
instituted.
that excluding
It
blacks
excludes,
from
yeah.
taking a.
But then,
okay, I get it now.
we've gone through
Yeah.
we've gone through policies of changing laws,
Right.
but laws have been changed.
Right.
Practices are not
Right.
changed.
And I think that's where the
That's what
conversation is. The
that's what I'm trying to
conversation
say.
is, I think, as America, I think it's not happening.
right.
Am I making sense? By law.
By law,
black and white.
for real.
But
I
as
don't
an
know.
individual, it
How
is
do you-
happening.
how do you take that out?
I think it is happening.
I think it's racism still there, but institutional racism
That's right.
shouldn't be there.
Should
Racism still there. though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is there.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's out there.
You can't take
but
that
it's
out.
not. But it's not. basically like before. It's right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind
Because
of
if a cop from California did it in Washington State, or let's just say Texas, right? That cop will get pulled over or get sued, right?
Yeah.
Well, are you speaking now or before?
Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
So place yourself back then. Do you think that you have the right to sue?
in early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh no, probably not.
You'd be fucking be scared
probably
as
not,
shit,
yeah.
man.
You probably get targeted or
Back
something.
then,
I don't know.
there's
Yeah.
institutional. Well, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
institutional, but there is a broad
Yeah.
racism on demographics, right?
Yeah.
Here's another part where systemic or maybe institutional may have a clash.
Yeah.
We're talking about incarceration.
Okay.
Okay. There's so much talk about incarceration,
I'm pretty sure.
of course, regarding races. Why are let's use the black population always getting
Yeah.
handled? They have a very large population
Incarcerated. Yeah.
versus whatever.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? I mean,
Well,
Because the judge is.
I think they can answer that
well,
statistically by what the crime is.
But I think
Okay.
I know what he's trying to go after.
Yeah.
Compared to a Filipino in the courtroom and a black person in the courtroom, two sentences may be given
Oh, different.
to the different
Yeah.
to the
same
same
crime, different
right.
sentence.
But I think it's that individual judgment
Yeah.
how much he's going to impose
to that
to
person.
that person. So I think that judge
That becomes subjective.
is subjective. Correct.
well, you could say it's subjective because you're talking about a person
Right.
making that ruling.
Right.
Now, if you peel the onion,
Yeah.
that certain person went to a certain school
Yeah.
where he got taught
To do that.
to read, understand the law,
Right.
right? So if I'm the one who's
I see what you're saying.
manipulating
I see what you're saying. I
you
see what you're saying. Okay.
how to think,
Yeah.
and even as an individual,
Right.
you do have some parts that you got to peel.
Yeah.
Now, that's just my theory.
Right.
It could be wrong, but there's some basis to it.
I think the basis would be. I think. It's like, okay. Since we're talking about that, I think to be fair, that's why we have the law, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think basing, like, for example, you're saying a black person and a Filipino guy in court, same case, whatever the case may be, same crime. You know what I mean? The sentence should be the same.
Should be.
Should be.
Right.
Remember, I mean, even the Constitution it says all men are created equal.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's written there.
Right.
But what happened?
So I don't, and I think that's my point. My point is, if the judge decided that the black, person get more, then that's the judge fault. That's subjective. You know what I mean?
Based on that judge's
yes. It's
So-
not really the system.
So-
it's the person.
So let's
Am I
go
making
back.
sense?
It does make
Yeah.
sense. But let's use the same
Okay.
analogy and
Oh.
let's
there's no longer
We're
an
off
error.
it.
yeah, we're offline.
Okay, we're on it.
We're on it.
We're back on.
With-
I had to fix that
With the
somehow.
same
Yeah.
thought process,
We can just leave it down.
when we're talking about the Constitution, where it says
Right.
all men, created equal,
Right.
life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Right.
It doesn't say black, white, Asian, or
No, all
whatever.
people, yeah.
Right. Go ahead, keep talking.
Right.
I kind of like it out there.
Why the heck
Okay, maybe not.
did we have segregation and total dominance, or not we, but total dominance of a race
Right.
versus another?
We're back then. Talking about back
Yeah.
then? Okay. Why you said?
Yeah. I mean, it's written there.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't say different colors. This is men created equal.
Yeah.
How can a group?
Yeah.
I can
Right?
answer that.
Go ahead.
All right.
So is that-
it's the same thing as what every other country is doing?
Oh,
It was the norm at the time.
norm.
So, yes.
Okay.
So
Norm is a formal law.
yeah, it's norm at the time because every country, the Arabians, the Africans, Holland, who actually started the slave trade, Europeans, they all had slaves. So, for example, Filipinos, we were slaves
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the Spaniards. So the thought process at that time, when the founding fathers created the Constitution, is in that kind of environment. They are not thinking of the slaves as people at the time. They were thought about as a resource, right? Because
Okay.
at the time, if you're talking about resources, human resource is slaves, basically.
Right.
You know, so that was the thought process at the time. That's why when they created the Constitution, it did. They said all people are created equal. However, human resources are not people. That's the thought process at the time.
So
Then it's ratified after people obviously evolved their
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
process.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
hey, there's a person too, so let's
Which is, I think,
abolish
I think
slavery.
which is the most important part.
Right.
Evolving and changing.
right, it's
Yeah.
evolving and changing, but
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're talking about normalcy back 1700s,
Yeah.
where when they say all men, they're just referring to the white race. So the entire Constitution was very, very racist.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
If you look at it that way.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
that-
I want to make sure that we're understanding
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So
When they
would,
created it, basically.
so would that be
Yeah.
constitutional, systemic, individual?
Well, at the time, who created the Constitution?
Well, that's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, because the Indians are not Americans at the time. They thought they're not part of the 13 colonies.
No.
No.
There's no minorities except for slaves in the 13 colonies.
Yep.
Right.
So is it really just for the
No,
white
no.
race?
No, I wouldn't say
When they
white,
created
I
it.
wouldn't say white race. I would say the population of 13 colonies. 'Cause if
Which
you think-
was
White.
white.
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
change
I-
your,
I know I see what you're getting
change your
at. Yeah, yeah.
thought process first.
You can.
Yes, you can.
No,
So-
you can.
Yes, think about it this way.
Okay.
You're in the Philippines. All
Okay.
you see is Filipinos.
Okay.
Those are your people.
Yeah.
Right. So when you make something, when you say all people,
Yeah.
it doesn't include
Okay.
the white people that maybe lives there.
Well,
it
that's
doesn't
the-
include
Okay.
Right, but
Yeah.
that's your land.
exactly.
Exactly. So when the Americans
The
came
13
over
colony-
and wrote that Constitution,
Yes. Yeah.
who was living in this land?
Yes, the 13 colonies.
No, who
The
was living in the,
the
land?
Indians.
Okay,
No,
the
no, no, no,
Indians.
no, no. Think,
That's
think
what
about
you're
it.
saying.
Yeah.
Think about your thought. No,
No, you got to look.
No,
look
yeah,
at it this way. You are going to another country
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and establishing, knowing that you have other people's living there already, and you write your
I
document,
see what you're saying. Because like saying you go to the Philippines.
and then they write the document.
Yeah,
And then-
but, so
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you're
Okay,
you're
yeah,
missing
yeah,
the point. What I'm saying.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
The 13 colonies.
Yeah.
The Indians are not part of the 13 colonies.
Whose land?
It doesn't matter because
It does.
the colonies are part of who?
England.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So the Indians are not part of the documentation.
The documentation was to cut charter from England. They're
Exactly.
starting their own country.
Exactly.
Whose country is it?
Theirs.
No.
It's 13 colonies.
Well,
No.
It was Indians, is what he's saying.
So you have to look at
Yeah,
me
yeah.
as a Puritan, right?
That's what that's what
Yes.
I'm trying to say. Systemic.
No.
Because you're looking at this lens.
yeah.
This lens alone.
Yeah.
We are not on that time period.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you have that.
That's
you
what I'm
have-
saying.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying.
You have the ability to now look back and say, like,
Same
when they did it.
when they did it.
Oh, okay.
same
I see
thing.
what you're
Same
saying.
thing
I
that the
got it now.
Spaniards
Yeah.
did to the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
That's the thought. So you have to think about the thought process.
So
So think about what the Spaniards did to the Philippines.
go ahead.
They
Okay.
they claimed the Philippines as what? Part of Spain, right? A
okay.
colony of Spain, right? The Filipinos are not a citizen of Spain.
Who are? Yeah.
We fought we tried to be a citizen of Spain. That's what we fought for in the beginning. The same thing the 13 colonies are trying to do. They think about the term colonies, right? So the English went to America. Ooh, land. I'm gonna establish these colonies. I'm gonna start a country now because I don't want to be against England.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a document for my
So
people.
you're saying they conquer first. They conquer to own it, basically.
Basically that land, if you think about your thought as a person in those times,
Okay.
land is free. If you're thinking about it from now, no, it's not. So the Indians live there. Hell no, it's free. But at that time, when you go there, I conquered this land.
It's
It's
not free.
mine.
They just conquered.
Yeah,
That's what it is. That's what you're saying.
it's a colony.
Okay.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying
So
is
they
when
took over the land first.
they took
Is what
so
you're saying.
once they
Okay.
called it 13 colonies,
Yeah.
that's part of England.
That's
it's
perfect.
no longer
When that's perfect. When was this?
this exactly.
When was this? No.
This is back in the 1700s.
No, go back.
1650.
Go back.
No, 1700s.
When was the Constitution written?
17
76?
no, not 76. 1774, I want to say. Because the war started in 1776.
Or 5, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know. Something like that.
So 1700s. The Indians.
Okay, let's
So
go
if
ahead.
you think about
No, no, no.
systemic-
Okay. Let's
So-
wait. Let me stop you there.
Okay.
Okay. People were here 1400s, 1492.
Americans or English?
Columbus,
87.
Okay.
Virtus Americanus was
Okay.
here. They founded it. That's when they started the 13 colonies. They never wrote the Constitution back then.
No.
Right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course
when
not.
they wrote the Constitution was 1700s. It was already the blanket of what they have now.
No.
See, it was written
No.
in 1787. That's
So
what it
it's,
says. Okay.
think about it this way. Think about it this way. You go to a land, it's you full of people, right?
Yeah.
All Filipinos.
Okay.
Even though if it was
No,
used
no,
to
no,
be
no, no. Take Philippines out. Let's talk about this country.
Okay, let's say I'm
all
I'm
Indians,
English.
okay, got it,
I'm English
okay.
here. Let's say I've been here since 1400s. You know, the Indians is over there. I want to start a new country.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna develop a document with those barbarians, right?
So you're
Or-
conquering first is what you're saying.
That's what they're trying to do. So they're establishing a nation of these 13 colonies,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
The constitution are created. All men are equal. In that,
Okay, when was the Constitution written? That's what I'm trying to say.
Because
1787.
You have 300s. You have years that you are missing.
about what?
So it was
From-
written in 1787. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the day of the constitution created,
Uh-huh.
they don't think about other.
Okay, so
They
but
thinking about
it's not the 13
peoples.
colonies you're talking about when they did the Constitution.
No, the 13 colonies went to war. That's United States of
So you're
America.
saying
that
they
thing.
established first.
Yeah.
And then they wrote the.
The 13
That's what
colonies
you're
are the
saying.
United States, right? They all have different people in charge of the governors of different colonies, right?
Okay.
They created the constitution out of those 13 colonies to get
Okay.
together.
Okay.
Not the whole America now, not the Indians now.
Okay.
All men are equal in these 13 colonies. That and it's not systemic racism because they're
Because
only
why?
thinking about those
Them?
13 colonies. It's not.
That's your side.
Now, if they were gonna, saying this whole continent, then that would be racist, obviously. But they're not. They're just wanting to get.
so you mean to
because of-
say within those 13 colonies there was no
they were
Indians?
not? They were not. There was Indians, but they were not thinking about invading the Indians. They just wanted to get out of the power under the English.
This is very interesting.
Yes.
This is very interesting because you have a different mindset when you're talking about land grabbings,
Yes.
Okay.
establishing from 1492 to when it was written in 1780s,
Yeah.
and the thought process of just the 13 colonies
Right.
and not spread across the United States.
If you think about it from our perspective now, yes, it's very racist.
Right.
But at the time, it's not racist
Here's the
because
sad
they're
part.
talking about.
what they were thinking
Yeah.
about.
Yes.
Here's the saddest part. Even if you're just talking about mindset of the 1780s,
Yeah.
and thinking about just the 13 colonies,
Okay.
we have the luxury now to go and look at history,
History.
and understand it and see where it's flaws.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the reason why we have ratifications of laws,
Right.
And try
And
to
evolving.
and try to
Yeah.
include everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
But it does not happen. It does not. It's not enough.
To cover.
It's not enough to fix what has been done,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And to move forward,
Yeah.
we talk about trying to be equal.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, being equal is a lot harder than it being said.
Okay.
When you're talking about housing, communities,
Yeah.
jail system, healthcare, schooling, those parts are never equal. Never equal. It's only equal if you can try to get into nice communities. Great
Okay,
if you
okay.
can.
Okay.
Good luck. Because it's
Right.
difficult for us, people of color,
Right.
versus white people back then. And when I say back then,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about
The 90s,
17s.
80s.
no,
18s,
I'm
yeah.
talking about like 50s and 60s. Very, very
Oh, yeah,
recent.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Very,
okay.
very recent.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm with
So
you.
it's really hard
Yeah.
to say like it's not systemic. It's an
Okay.
individual basis.
Right.
Right? But you have to look at it to where
How it started?
how it started, how people's thought process came and how they wrote it, because that is also transferred from gen to gen to gen.
Okay.
Regardless if people say, no,
Yeah.
I'm married to this,
Well,
I'm dating to this.
That's different.
right?
Right.
Why, how can I be called racist?
Right, right.
That's not it.
Right.
That's not it.
So
I mean, even if you're married, I mean, you still have your.
so what you're saying is still out there. The racism is still.
Oh
out there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which I think it is.
It is.
It's
I
out
think
there.
I think it's just my view is as far as okay, one, I think we all agree that we did evolve and I think it got better. We all agree, right?
Of
100%,
course.
right?
Nobody's
Okay.
getting
Compare-
lynched.
I mean,
Right, right.
compare from
I mean,
1990s to now.
We're able to get a house now,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
us.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
able
yeah.
to get whatever the you
Yeah.
know like
I mean,
the white
from-
has, we can have it.
We can.
Yeah, you
We
know what I
can.
mean?
difference, a big difference from the 1980s to
Right.
2020. So
And I think that's a topic now though. It's like the topic now is you know what I mean? Like people are still arguing about the fact that I hear this all the time in debates, right? That they still why you know your black people or others just like ours are still not granted the same thing. There's still an argument out there. Like, hey, you know, that we don't get favors and so on and so forth, right? And you guys hear those a lot. I'm
I mean,
pretty sure.
favors from what though?
You know, like getting into nice schools and you know those arguments that I see all the time on YouTube's or any videos that you see on social media.
Yeah.
You still have people out there that thinks that that we can't get what white people is doing. Like we can never move on as far as like in life or like things that you know what I mean, like schooling, good schools, good jobs. I think that
I mean,
pertains to. I think which I don't agree because I think you know I think I'm a byproduct of that us getting better,
yeah.
Yes.
I think some
getting
Yes.
access to
Yeah.
what we what we thought white people did have.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got the same access.
Well, I think
I
some
think
of the
so.
problem really is education because there's a lot
Right.
of stuff that an individual like
Right.
my kids they don't know how to do taxes. How are they
Okay.
gonna do taxes? Especially for those that grew up in maybe in a bad neighborhood. They
Right.
don't know how to do most of the stuff. There's no education on basic living.
Right.
I have to teach my kids how to do taxes instead of going to school. And there's how to change tires and all this stuff. It's like basic, important stuff that you can learn to survive out there and make yourself better. Like,
Right.
what's the difference between a vocational school and in higher educational school?
Right.
Where my learning process, where am I fit? Do I fit much more better and learn faster as a vocational student or a college student? Because either or you're gonna be successful, but it depends on what you're more comfortable, or if you're a faster learner as a vocational student or a college student. So those are the things that I think education would help.
No, I don't mean it that way. I meant it like because we talk about racism,
Yeah.
right? In general.
In
right?
general, yeah.
Right, and I think what I meant is I think people still think out other what I meant is like people with color,
Oh, okay.
including us. There are other with people with other people with other than white that still think that they are that they don't have the same capability as white people.
The only I would add this because sometimes even when people think that way,
Yeah.
you have two different types. One,
Right. What are you doing, right?
right, would be the action.
Yes.
What am I gonna do to balance this or make
Right.
me be ahead?
Right.
And the other side would be like, woe is me.
right.
This
Yeah.
is unfair.
Yeah, because I don't
That's-
agree.
that's
I mean, I agree the
thing.
fact that it's still out there. It is.
It's
but,
still out there.
But it doesn't stop. I don't think it stopped us with Colored to do whatever we want to do.
No, because the tickets were expensive. The petition was too long.
Yeah.
Hell no, I'm not coming over here just to complain.
No.
I'll fucking grind.
Yes.
Right.
I think.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
I think. At the end of the day, you still gotta take the action. You know what I
Well-
mean? You cannot say, "Oh, I'm being targeted,"
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if you think about it,
but you
No,
didn't do
it's-
anything.
Yeah, you did.
Well, you didn't do shit. Like-
Okay, it happened. Well, fuck. Next time I ain't gonna do that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like-
you try to find ways so that you could avoid the situation. Just keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe
Right.
I was really doing something wrong back then.
Right.
I didn't know, but
But
well,
you,
my heartburn in all of this is,
Yeah.
talking about, let's just for example, black and white, right?
yeah.
It seems like it's flip flop now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, right? Am I wrong?
okay.
Like there's
Explain.
certain things that the white cult, the white race are
Can't get away with?
disadvantaged as far as
Okay.
as far as like
Things
the
that they can
special
do?
things that minorities get, like
Right.
college credits and all that, college discounts
Grants
or
and
whatever.
stuff, yeah.
Right. That
Or keep it coming.
yeah, I know. Right? I'm not complaining.
I'm not
but
complaining.
Yeah.
I feel for the white folks out there because where's the love there? I mean, it's
What's the equality?
yeah, where's the
their
equality
equality?
there? Then when
Yeah.
we advocate for equality the whole entire time,
Yeah.
it seems like it's not equal.
Basically, what you're saying is we cannot complain about whites being racist back then when we do the same thing.
You are doing it now.
You're doing it to them now.
We're doing it
We
now.
basically I see what-
Flip-flop.
That's actually a good point
Yeah.
because we can't say, "Oh, you were racist to us, so now we're gonna do it to you."
And now
You can't. That's not right.
That's not solving the problem.
It's not.
no.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's not.
like, wait,
It's
hold
not.
on.
It's
You-
not.
just because they were racist before, now we trying to change, and you want to be racist.
Yeah. Oh,
Which
this-
is actually happening.
It's
If you-
happening right
This
now.
this club is only for Filipinos.
Yeah, I know. I know.
If you do that, let's put it as white club only.
Yeah.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
of- if you see that, what do you
Yeah.
call them?
I know.
Racist?
Yeah, I know.
KKK.
KK.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
okay,
know.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I mean,
And
but I
that's-
think that's the moral of the story.
And that's my heartburn.
Yeah.
Is that I get it. We have history
Yeah.
about racist and it's racist and blah blah blah. But we need to move forward. And if you really want to be more equal, then treat each other with respect, harmony,
Yeah.
and
Right.
Yeah. I
Kindness.
mean, look at all the Filipino or the white or
Yeah.
foreigners that live in the Philippines.
oh, we
They-
love them.
They get treated like
But they don't want to come home.
they don't want to.
They don't want to come
go
back here.
You
They
know,
don't want to come back here.
no, they love it there.
They love it there.
Yeah.
So why can't they love us when they see us here?
And
I think they like us.
they like us. I think so.
We get the
I mean,
nurses.
we get a lot of compliments. Like, oh,
They need
you,
us in the hospital.
I know, right?
They'll be like, oh, I like your lumpia. Like, we
Which
cook-
one?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You want this one right here, my
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think again, I'm gonna recap with this, right? Because I keep repeating myself as
Yeah.
far as I think we got better. That's one. We all agree,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And are there racists out there? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But I think to me the moral lesson is you gotta. I think before you say anything, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and say, what have I done to help myself instead of looking at the whites or other people
Yeah.
The other way around. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and blaming people. Oh, I didn't get this. Well, what did you do? Did
Yeah.
you try and apply? Did you try to do this? Before you say
and before
Yeah.
you can't get it.
No, you can't get
You
it.
cannot. You can't
Oh,
just say I can't get it, and white people can get it.
I
but
wasn't-
did you try?
I wasn't admitted because I'm brown.
I'm brown or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. You
disclaimer,
know
I
what mean?
wasn't trying to protect what happened in the past.
Yeah.
I'm just proving a point.
I, I know you're racist. yeah.
No, I know. I think it's a work in progress.
Yes, it is, for sure.
Everybody's right. We are getting better,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it feels like it's not.
Yeah.
Look at history,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure you'd be like, yeah, we're getting better.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're getting better.
Shit, big
Yeah.
time.
From 1980s to now.
First
Yeah.
of all, we won't be able to do this.
Oh yeah. Oh,
shit.
voicing ourselves.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Knock on wood.
you know what I mean? Like, imagine back in the day doing this, broadcasting
Oh,
it.
no.
Oh, no.
Police be knocking on your door.
FBI, be like,
I know,
FBI.
FBI. You guys are detained.
All right. So
I know.
did we answer that question? We still have institutional.
I think we are there.
All right.
That's well.
That's a lot of there. That's a lot there.
It's
oh my goodness.
It's
That's
it's
a good
loaded.
topic.
It's
That's a lot.
loaded,
It's
man.
loaded.
Because
Yeah.
everybody have their feelings for it,
Yeah.
their knowledge for it, and it's.
yeah.
I mean, imagine this: we're all the same,
Right.
But we still have different views,
perspectives.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Imagine that.
Right. I know.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So it's crazy.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all we got.
Yeah.
Until
Till next time.
Look at yourself in the mirror. and
I look good.
Say self.
Self.
You suck.
No, but
I look good.
Michael Jackson said that.
Oh yeah.
Man in the mirror.
Man in the mirror.